I remember one time getting so high at my friend's house that I'd fallen asleep for 5 hours and I woke up at midnight and I still didn't see it as an issue. My name is Harrison Holden. Last year I dealt with a cart addiction where I was using that to deal with my depression in a way that negatively impacted me. I remember the first time I had ever gotten high, like my friend had given me like his edible for me to take on my own. So I took it like alone at like my house when like my parents were gone. Like for so long, for like a solid like 2 months, I would be smoking or like trying to find a way to get high, but like I just couldn't. So I wasn't expecting to get high. I took the edible, and then like after like an hour and a half or something, I started feeling like almost like feverish a little bit, but like not in a bad way. And then I started noticing like, oh wait, I'm actually like high. After that, like I would get high like very like infrequently with friends. I would get high like maybe like once a month, like once every 2 months. And then I feel like that was freshman year. And then once sophomore year kind of happened, like it just started becoming more constant, like maybe once every 2 weeks or whatever. And then starting to go like every week. And then I eventually had that cart and I was like getting high like every day. I remember it was April 20th. Also known as like 420, where like 420 is associated with weed. We're in school, every single person was high. I was high. I had the what's it called? I had my cart that I was hitting all day. I remember starting to feel like I was almost like too high. Like I felt like I was almost like too aware of the organs in my body. And I felt like I had this like mild nausea that was like permeating throughout. When I went onto a bus, and I remember just like trying to, like feeling like almost like too dizzy, and I was like, oh God, I need to sit down. And then like putting in headphones so I could just like focus on the music. We had watched like a nature documentary, and then I passed out for like 5 hours. I remember waking up after that and feeling like, oh God, like I had like that brain fog of like feeling like I was like still kind of high and just like not sober, but not too high at the same time. And then realizing, oh shit, I still had to study for all these, like I had to study for the AP exam specifically, and I had to study for all these other finals that I had in class. I had like rushed to do it all on Sunday, and I remember 2 or 3 weeks after that, I remember we had to actually take the AP exam, and then I thought at the time I was kind of prepared, but then I later got my score back and I got a 2, and I realized I was like, I had basically gotten no college credit, and I was like, damn, I felt like if I like maybe applied myself a little bit more and studied and spent more time studying instead of like getting high like a couple times, then I feel like I could have done better. I remember getting in this like habit where I would get like high almost every single night to try and like go to sleep. And this one specific night, like my parents had gone to sleep or whatever, and my parents had gone to sleep, and I started doing the usual. I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit my cart, get high. So I did that, and then I remember I started getting like hungry, like the munchies. I started like gaining like an appetite for like snacks. So I went downstairs. So it was like all dark. I opened the cabinet, and then I saw something out of my peripheral, like almost like a person, what I thought. And I had this like feeling of like paranoia of like, oh, I feel like someone's like inside the house with me. And I started getting that more and more often when I would get high at nighttime. That's what really like showed me like, oh, this is kind of negative. My friends eventually caught on to the idea that I was like, that they knew I was depressed, and they knew that this cart was not good for me, so they kept on trying to get me off of it. And they started like going against it. They're like, yo, like why are you doing that? And I remember this one day, like I had like a really like rough day, and I was just like high the whole entire day, like during school. And then like I went to hang out with my friends after school at like Chase, like how I usually do. But like my friend was like, no, don't hang out with us. Like you're high, and you're not doing anything to change it at all. And then they kind of like left me there, which like I felt like in that moment was fucked up, but at the same time, like in hindsight, they were really just doing it because they cared about me, because they didn't want to see me like get high all the time. So I remember that was really difficult because I had to like I was like basically by myself, and then I like had to go home by myself and actually like reflect and think about why I actually made that decision, like and why like they actually cared, you know what I mean? So by this point I was ready to turn over a new leaf, and I remember it was my friend's birthday, and I told him, I was like, yo, as a gift, like I'm actually gonna like, and I'm gonna break this cart and like smash it and not have to worry about it anymore, because I know that he was like that worried about me. I whipped the cart out and I smashed it against like the edge of like a trash can, and then like it like cracked and broke, and all the oil was like spilling out and like flying in the air, and then I just like threw out the actual like disposable. and I was like done with it. And I felt actually like happy to like know that I was like aiming for something like better. I remember after having had broken the car, I was left to deal with my depression all like on my own. I didn't really know how to, and so I thought of the idea of revisiting like an old movie that I was like really into when I was younger, which was The Goonies. And I remember after having watched that movie, I felt almost inspired to reincorporate creativity in my life again. And I remember that whole summer I wrote like a 10-page script and shot it all with my friends. And I just started surrounding myself with creativity more and more through whether it be drawing, like working on sounds, just opening up different like writing projects. I found myself doing way more like productive things, like creatively and not creatively too as well, than I would have if I had that cart still and I was still smoking it all the time. I just felt like it was almost like all this goodness just replaced all that badness that I was incorporating in my life.
That was nice.
Was that nice? All right, okay.